Hello friends, today we are going to take a look at provisions of returns in GST. In the earlier videos we have understood provisions of registration. Now we are going to take returns under GST friends. Provisions for return under GST are given from section 37 to section 48. We will consider today only some of the basic sections of return filing, which will make it clear in your mind that how exactly the return procedures will work under GST. Friends, basically we are required to focus on section 37, section 38, section 39 and section 42 and section 43. Let's first talk about section 37. It talks about details of outward supplies to be filed. Actually friends, it is said that in a month you are required to file 3 returns under GST. Now whenever people are saying you are required to file 3 returns under GST, they are talking about 37, 38 and 39. These 3 sections returns. But out of these 3 sections, 37 and 38 are actually not returns. They are the details of outward supplies and details of inward supplies. 37 is details of outward supplies and 38 is details of inward supplies. Return monthly is given only in section 39. So how this exact provision will work? As per section 37, first of all, whenever you are filing details of outward supplies, how it will be filed? Let's say you are filing return or the supplies outward for the month of June. Then they are saying on or before 10th of July you are required to upload the details of outward supplies. So invoice wise details you are required to upload, in which you will say that we have sold this much amount of goods or we have provided this much amount of services to this person. This is the registration number of that person. Now this has to be done on or before the 10th of the succeeding month. So for July we are required to file on or before 10th of August. For August we are required to file on or before 10th of September, like that. Now the crucial thing starts afterwards friends. Once you are filing the details of outward supply under section 37, then whosoever person's name you have mentioned with registration number in that details of outward supplies, under GSTR 1, whatever you are filing under section 37 is called GSTR 1, that will be reflected in the online portal of the recipient. And it will become GSTR 2A. It will be visible in the GSTN portal of the recipient from 11th of the succeeding month. So on or before 10th you are required to file this return of outward supplies. From 11th it will become visible in the portal of the recipient. Now what the recipient will do, recipient will be able to verify that these are the input tax credit for which I am eligible, or these are the input tax credit for which I am not eligible. For example, let's say you have filed in your GSTR 1 some of the outward supplies, which is the inward supply for the recipient. But the recipient has not used that particular supplies for taxable supplies. In that situation, he is not eligible for that input tax credit. So what the recipient will do from 11th to 15th, he will either accept whatever you have mentioned, that means yes, this is my credit. He will reject whatever credits you have wrongly mentioned. Let's say someone else credit you have mentioned, so he can reject that particular credit also. Sometimes what happens, the supplier has not shown the credit or not shown the outward supply, so the recipient can also add that particular amount in the GSTR. You can modify those particular things in the GSTR 2A. So once the modified GSTR 2A is filed, it becomes GSTR 2. So GSTR 2 is a details of inward supplies which is required to be filed by the recipient. He will file this particular GSTR 2 on or before 15th of the succeeding month. So up to 10th the supplier will file. It will become visible on the online portal of the recipient from 11th to 15th. On or before 15th the recipient will file GSTR 2. Now what will happen friends, whatever GSTR 1 the supplier has filed under section 37, that cannot be modified, that cannot be changed, that cannot be, let's say, filed even from 11th to 15th. whatever GSTR 2 has been filed by the recipient, that will become GSTR 1A for the supplier. So supplier can verify that I have filed this GSTR 1, but the recipient is saying something else, that he has not purchased these things or he has purchased some excess amount of goods. So from 16 and 17 or on 16 and 17, the supplier can modify his GSTR 1. So 1A whatever has become visible, he can make that particular changes. So he can also modify on 16 and 17. After 17, he cannot modify GSTR 1. So in nutshell, up to 10th, the outward supplies, up to 15th, the inward supplies. Now what will happen, this will automatically become GSTR 3 for the supplier as well as the recipient. And they are required to file this final return, that is called monthly return, on or before 20th of the succeeding month. That means for June, on or before 20th of the July, they are required to file this GSTR 3, which is a monthly return. This monthly return will be called valid return only if you have paid full tax whatever is payable during that particular month. Without making the payment of the tax, or if let's say the tax payment is short, in that situation the return is not considered as a valid return. Now what the GSTN portal will do, let's say on 20th of July both the supplier and recipient has filed the return, that is monthly return. Then on or before 30th of June, that means end of the month in which you have filed the return, the portal will match both these returns of the supplier and recipient. If there is any mismatch, then it will be communicated to both the recipient and the supplier. So what the recipient and supplier is required to do, the month in which this discrepancy has been communicated, they are required to rectify this discrepancy in the return for the month in which the discrepancy has been communicated to them. If it is not done, then ultimately the recipient will suffer, because the portal will automatically add this particular amount in the output tax liability of the recipient with interest. So the date on which you have taken this input tax credit till the date on which it has been added in your output tax liability, for that much period's interest you are required to pay. And interest rate will be 18% per annum. So this is how the matching is done. Sometimes what happens, that we are taking a credit twice. That means it is a repetition of the credit we have taken. In that situation, this discrepancy will not be communicated to the supplier, because it is a clear fault of the recipient only. So recipient is required to delete that particular credit. If the recipient is not deleting this credit, then in the next month it will be added in his output tax liability with interest. Interest will be 18% per annum. So basically we have only understood at present section 37, section 38 and section 39. Please understand, these sections are not applicable for a person paying tax under composition scheme under section 10. It is not applicable to non-resident taxable person. It is also not applicable to a person who is required to deduct tax TDS under section 51 or TCS under section 52. For these particular persons, there are separate provisions are given under section 39 how these returns will be filed, quarterly or some other due dates are given, that we will verify in detail in the next video, friends. If you have any queries, you can send your queries on the email ID given in the video description, or you can send a message on the numbers given in the video description. Thank you very much.